So we can't even deal with what's fair. But he's stuck in the fact that it's not fair. I don't deserve that. They were wrong. I used to be a state legislator in Columbus, Ohio. During the break, we used to go out on the front lawn of the Ohio legislature at the Capitol there and observe people as they came by. There was one particular person that all of us knew. The children, adults, everybody used to pick at him when he came by. We called him Chicken Man. He had a feather in his hat. He had a toy chicken on top of his car that he would drive around the area in downtown, blinking his lights and occasionally blowing his horn. When he got out of his car, he would walk downtown with a baby carriage with two little baby dolls in there and a picture of a woman. And when you say something to him or came near him, you would hear him making the sounds of a chicken. All of us used to laugh at Chicken Man. We didn't know Chicken Man's story. Chicken Man woke up one morning around 3 a.m. and his house was on fire. He panicked and he got out of the window and left quickly, only to get outside to hear his children and his wife screaming for help. He ran back to the door to go in to save them, and the flames were too hot, too awesome. He tried to get in, he couldn't get in. He was desperate, frantic. Pretty soon the cries stopped. They perished in the fire. His brother-in-law came, found out that his sister had died and his nieces in the fire, grabbed Chicken Man and started beating him. "You chicken, why did you save my sister? You're chicken, you're chicken." When the people pulled him off Chicken Man, they picked him up and said, "Are you all right?" And Chicken Man looked at him and he started making the sounds of a chicken. He never ever overcame that tragedy. He was stuck from that experience. None of us knew why Chicken Man went around with this picture and these little dolls.
A good question to ask before undertaking any project or setting any new objective, then, is what are the most important half-dozen things that will make the major difference in how it works out? So whether the enterprise is art or architecture, music or sculpture, mathematics or sports, business or farming, success or lifestyle, it's the fundamentals that count. To understand them and to practice them is to take the first intelligent step toward accomplishing your objectives and living your dreams. The second key word for us to consider is wealth. Wealth is a word that brings about a wide variety of mental images, and that is part of my purpose in these cassettes, to provoke that wide variety of mental images, for that is where the dreams are, that is where the inspiration comes from, and that is where true incentive is born. The mystery and mixture of mental image, the stuff and the staff of life. Its right use, its constant use is the way to a life unique and a life abundant. Now, to one, wealth means having enough financial substance to be able to do whatever you wish to do with your life. To another, it may mean freedom from debt, freedom from the constant claim of obligation. To yet another, it means opportunity. And to many, wealth means $1 million. That's a unique word, millionaire. It rings of success, freedom, power, influence, pleasure, possibility, benevolence, and excitement. Not a bad mental image.
If you look at the wall, you run into it. You cannot even look at the wall, you pull the steering wheel into the wall. So when there's a crash at 215 miles an hour and there's smoke everywhere, we are trained to drive right into the smoke. Can you imagine that? Imagine the fear level of driving into the smoke at 200 miles an hour when you know there are crashed cars in front of you. That's what you do as a driver to win. That's what you do as an entrepreneur to win. That's what they do as an entrepreneur. My fever's like 110. All right, so you gotta be willing to drive in there. Here we go. You got 8 years left. Want to learn to bend time? You want some help with time? How do we manipulate those 8 years? Do you want to know, yes or no? Okay, here's how you manipulate that time. Who says a day is 24 hours? Who says that? Someone just made that crap up. Why can't a day be 23 hours? Why can't a day be 8 hours? A day can be 8 hours, by the way. I started it 10 years ago. I run 8-hour days. People that are successful in a bigger hurry, they're faster. They walk faster, talk faster, they move faster. This is something you're going to need to adopt. You don't need to be loud and intense like me, but you're going to move, think, and walk and talk faster. Speed matters. So I run 8-hour days. My first day, you can do it however the heck you want, but my first day, I run 3 mini days. They're actually each 6 hours. My first day is from 6 a.m. to noon. That's a day. Have you ever had a day where you got more accomplished the first 3 hours than you do in a normal whole day? Yes or no? So did I. And I started thinking, well, then what the hell do I measure this stuff by 24 hours for? So many years ago, I went, my day is 6 a.m. to noon. I let the rest of the world have their day. I'm trying to run a whole day schedule of calls, appointments, contacts, meetings, executions, return of emails, whatever it is, from 6 a.m. to noon. That is the end of my day. Day 2 starts from noon to 6 p.m. That's my second day. I got 2 days now. My third day is from 6 p.m. until midnight. I run this cycle of days. I get 3 days a day. I calibrate time that way. I look at time that way. I execute that way. I crush you. You work 24-hour days. days, you're going to get slammed. In today's world, the speed of internet contacts, and you're going to compete against someone like me and the people I teach this to, which comes out on my YouTube video on Monday, so you're getting it first. You better start running mini days, especially those of you, by the way, who do this part-time. You need to really start to calibrate time the way I just told you. A day for you going forward is 6 a.m. to noon. Your second day is noon to 6 p.m. So if some of you are going to be at your job for the first 2 days, you got a brand new day when you leave there, and you're 6 p.m. to noon. If you're going to be a real entrepreneur, real part-time, you bend time. What that does for me is it allows me to measure myself every window, every day. At the end of that day, I measure and adjust and calibrate. I actually have a clock that goes off in my head every hour. To this day, top of every hour, what did I do to execute? What do I need to do to move closer to my goal? What do I need to do to change? It's a little psycho, but it's what I have. If you really want to win, you really want to be very wealthy, if you compete with 24-hour days, because here's what I get. By the time you've run 2 days, I've had 6. Stack up a normal week for you, and I get 21 days. Now stack up a month, stack up a year, stack up 3 years, stack up 5 years, stack up 10 years, and you go from Velcro Mercedes to all that shit you saw in the video.
The meaning we associate to things controls our entire lives. It's not that your mother or father died that's giving you suffering. Certainly that's painful. It's the meaning you think it shouldn't have happened. And when we take control of the meaning, it's the only thing we can control our lives. We can't control events. And we're living now where technology is happening so rapidly. It's magnificent what it does for our lives. But we all know with that technology, our psychology is not developing as rapidly. And as a result, the world's changing. And there are a lot of us that have learned to engage with technology and use it to maximize, most people in this room. There's lots of people who use technology to disengage, to be harmful to themselves and to other people. It's not a one-way street. So I'm interested in how to maximize the psychology side, and that's why I'm sharing this with you. So you can increase both your leadership skill, but who do you have to lead first to be effective, my friends? Who? Yourself. And so good to see what's controlling you. Well, what I'm focusing on is controlling me. You can focus on something and make yourself crazy. You can focus on something and make yourself great. In this moment, you could be worried about Ebola, because we all know it's coming. People are freaked out all over the world. 36,000 people die a year of flu, and the whole world is focused on Ebola. Because the news is not designed to inform you, it is designed to startle you. Because that's how you sell things. So if you let someone else take control of your focus, your life will be in someone else's hands. So first decision is what you're gonna focus. Second, meaning. My father that day focused on he had to take care of his family, and the meaning was, I know what it was because he said it out loud, that I'm worthless. Now when you come up with a meaning, it produces an emotion. And if you and I want to look at the quality of our life, there's only a way to define it. One way really, that's real. How do you feel every day? If every day of your life you got $1 billion and every day you feel guilty or angry, by the way, nothing worse than an angry rich man or woman. Isn't there? You just want to slap them, don't you? How do you have the right to be angry? They find a way. But if you got $1 billion and you're angry and you're pissed off and you're guilty all the time, what is the quality of your life? Angry, pissed off, and guilty.
Most of you have these stats, but I pulled them because I think they're interesting. Because I'm talking the Old Testament stuff, and you might say, well, that's outdated, and we don't need to hear that. These latest stats say 1,500 pastors leave the ministry permanently each month in America. 1,500 running out the door every month in America alone. That's a lot. Imagine 1,500 people leaving your church a month. 1,500 people, pastors a month. Hey, a month. 4,000 new churches start each year in America. 7,000 churches close each year. If you got 7,000 closing and 4,000 starting, that's them numbers. You've been hearing a lot about pastors and divorces, the big pastors and big preachers. There's a lot being said about people getting divorced. Oh, bless God. Oh, see, because when you're big and you have a problem, it gets a lot of publicity and people get to tie in and to talk about it like you're an anomaly and like you're an exception. Let me give you some reality check. 50% of pastors' marriages, 50% of pastors' marriages end in divorce. So it's not just the big ones you hear about. It's the little ones too. It's just that when you're big and you get a problem that little people have, they get to kill you for having it. 50%? Gosh, that seems like a lot. That seems like a whole lot of people. 80% of pastors spend under 15 minutes a day in prayer. Maybe that's some of the problem we have. And nearly 60% of pastors secretly want to get out of ministry, but have no way to sustain themselves aside what they're doing it for the benches. The passion is gone. The thrill is gone. They're in the middle of their lives. They can't start over in a new position. They've got too much titles and too much influence, and they're embarrassed to quit, and they're hanging on by a thread. Those are huge statistics. And if those statistics are accurate, then you could assume that there is at least 10% of people in this room are sick of just sick. Oh, praise the Lord. How you doing, friend? I'm doing good. How you doing, man?
We're going to talk in this session about the exact formula for what creates long-term happiness, what creates unhappiness, what creates suffering, and what the antidotes are, of which there's only 3. How do I know this? I've had the privilege of being with 4 million people now from 100 countries around the world in live seminars, and I've seen everything you can imagine. I mean, from the most successful people in the world to the singularly most challenged people you could possibly imagine. I've dealt with people with multiple personality disorders, 52 different personalities, and how to put them back together. And I've dealt with people with no personality who have a much bigger problem. No matter what the diversity of people I've dealt with and the diversity you've seen in this show, the ultimate question I'm always asking is, how do I help people to break through? The question is, what are you breaking through to? In essence, all of us at some level to feel alive have to always feel like we're growing. When people ask me, what does it take to be happy? I always tell them one word: progress. Progress equals happiness. Even if you're not where you want to be yet, if you're on the road, if you're improving, if you're making progress, you're going to love it. You're going to feel alive. On the other hand, it doesn't matter how successful you are. If you stop growing, you start dying inside. Now, how does this relate to this session on breakthrough? Well, I'll say it's really simple. If you and I want to know what it takes to be happy, we have to understand what is our current blueprint of how our life's supposed to be. Now, what do I mean by blueprint? Well, we have a story in our head of how life's supposed to be. Some people's story is you work hard in school, you become really great, you're a nice person, you're a good person, and then you grow up and you take care of yourself and you find the ideal man and you fall in love and you have a white picket fence and you have 3 perfect children and you live happily ever after. Somebody else's story, the old story was, you work really hard in school, you excel in college, you go to work for a big corporation, and you move up through the ranks until you're the president or chairman of the company, and you become successful and respected throughout life. These are some old stories. Obviously, the stories that we hear today of what people's lives are supposed to be like are completely diverse. We no longer have these little archetypes, but one archetype still seems to remain. And that archetype is, in order for you to really feel like you're enough, many people believe they have to achieve an enormous amount. They may do it in different ways. They may do it by building a company and taking it public when they're 27 or 25 years old, or they find and create a new technology, or they become a very special doctor. But we live in a culture in the West that teaches people that you're not enough unless you do something really special and unique, and we define special and unique in interesting ways. A school teacher is not special and unique. A mother who stays home with her children day and night, sculpting their minds, their bodies, their souls, and their future is not special. We live in a world today where we treat teachers like they're nobody and pay them accordingly, and we wonder why our children seem to have challenges in learning and growing or being engaged in school. We spend thousands of dollars on some item like a computer, but what we look at overall, we invest in for the teacher and for that person who's the personal connection with them is so small. We live in a society where many women look down and say, well, you're just a housewife, you're just a mother. See, some of the pain we have in our society is not because there's one right or one wrong approach, but because we try to make everybody fit into some particular approach to life. Here's what's going to make you happy or make you unhappy in life. It's real simple. Let's do a quick test. If you're in a situation right now where you look at your life, I know there's an area of your life that you probably feel pretty darn good about. Even if you're not happy with your finances, I bet you feel damn good close to your kids. Or if you're not close to your kids, maybe you don't have any kids, maybe you feel really good about your career. If you're doing not so good in your career, maybe you got a really great body that you've trimmed down or strengthened up, or you really shaped yourself the way you want, muscularly, or in the way you look. Or if that's not happening, maybe you feel a really special connection with God, or really close to your mother or father or your family, whatever. Almost everybody has an area of their life they feel really good about if they're honest and if they're fair to themselves. What's an area of your life you really feel happy about? And I want you to think about it for a moment, truthfully. What's an area in your life today that if you wanted to be happy about it, you really could feel proud about it? You could feel like it's an area you're doing darn well in.
And ladies and gentlemen, as a result of stretching out, of acting on my dream, and I don't know what that dream is for you, I can tell you that it's possible. No one could have convinced me that after just over 6 years, I will have my own book entitled Live Your Dreams. Just over 6 years, I will have 5 specials on public television. Just over 6 years, I've done motivational speaking for AT&T, Procter & Gamble, McDonald's Corporation, Xerox, IBM, just over 6 years. I will now have my own talk show that will premiere on Monday, Labor Day. I'm saying to you, your dream is possible. Your dream is possible. But not only is it important that you believe and begin to know that it's possible for you to live your dream as you run toward it, but I've done something that I want to share with you called Choosing Your Future. In fact, I've developed a set of tapes talking about how to begin to create your own reality by choosing your future. And not only is it important for you to know it's possible for you to choose your future, but it's necessary that you work on yourself, that you develop yourself. It's necessary that you get the energy drainers out of your life, people who don't want anything. It's necessary to know that everybody won't see it, that everybody won't join you, that everybody won't have the vision. It's necessary to know that a lot of people like to complain, but they don't want to do anything about their situation, that you are an uncommon breed. You know, you have to know within yourself that I can do this. Even if no one else sees it for me, I must see it for myself. That's necessary. It's also, ladies and gentlemen, necessary that you be creative when you're working on your ideas, that you understand the importance of changing up, of readjusting your strategies. Many times we can have a great idea, but if you're not advancing it in the right way and things don't happen, you become discouraged and think the idea doesn't work. No, that's not true. It's necessary that we become creative. I remember when I was in New York walking down the street, and a guy approached me and said, "Hey, mister, can I shine your shoes?" And I said, "No, I'm in a hurry. I don't have time." I kept walking. Someone else said, "Hey, man, your shoes look clutty. May I shine your shoes?" I said, "No, I don't have time. I'm sorry, I'm busy." And I was walking fast, and many people solicited me for my business. And then finally, a young man stepped in front of me, and he said, "Excuse me." And he started counting, 97, 98, 99, 100. He said, "Sir?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Come here, please." I said, "What is it?" He said, "Today is my birthday. And every year, just to thank God for another year of life, the 100th person who passes my shoe shine stand, I offer them a free shoe shine. Would you give me the honors?" I said, "Why, sure." I got up on the shoe shine stand, George, and I sat there, and he shined my shoes diligently. And when I got down, I looked at them, they were sparkling. And I was walking away, and I said, "Thank you." And I stopped, I said, "Excuse me, but how much do you usually charge?" He said, "Only $2. I said, "I tell you what, today's your birthday. Here's $5, keep the change." He said, "Thank you." As I was walking away, looking in the opposite direction of other people coming, he started counting again. 97, 98, 99, 100. It's necessary that you be flexible, that you are always thinking of how can I improve this better.
The summer's called challenging time. In the summer, we've got two things going for us. One is opportunity, but the other is to watch out for your enemies. Nourish your values in the spring, in the summer. Like a mother, nourish the values. Distributors you've got, make sure that they get plenty of nourishment from you, plenty of training from you, plenty of understanding from you. Don't be short, don't be careless. Give them your best, like a mother would give the best to her child. Give them the best you've got. Just because they're not part of your immediate family, they're a part of your Herbalife family. They deserve the best nourishment you've got. Don't shortchange them on food that'll help them to grow. Don't shortchange them on information that will help them to learn. Don't shortchange them on ideas that'll help them to transform their lives. Be like a mother in the summer and give the best you've got to everybody you can reach and everybody you can touch. It's called opportunity in the making. Be careful of those around you. Even when your check comes from Herbalife. You say, "Well, Herbalife sends my check." Well, here's what you've got to understand. It's not the 13th floor that sends you your check. It's not the computer that sends you your check. Some live human being had to make it possible for that money to finally get to you. So remember, it's human beings that make our lives valuable. It's not systems, it's not numbers in the marketing, it's not computers, it's not the printout, it's not points, and it's not royalties. What makes us all rich beyond our wildest imagination is people. So be mindful of investing in the summer in every person you can possibly invest in. They will make you wealthy.
I will celebrate each goal I accomplish with gratitude and joy. I choose to think positively. I choose to think positively and create a wonderful world and successful life for myself. I am grateful that my life is so happy and successful. I can never fail, for everything that happens contributes to me being better. I'm extremely passionate about constantly being better and more successful. I have the courage to create positive change in my life. I acknowledge my own self-worth. My confidence is rising. Every day I will become more confident, powerful, and successful. Feeling confident, assured, and strong is a normal part of my day-to-day life. I am self-reliant, creative, and persistent in whatever I do. I am valuable and will make powerful contributions to the world today. I made decisions based on the superstar I am becoming. I continuously push myself to learn and develop in areas of life that bring me happiness, freedom, and purpose. I am the difference that will make the difference. I wake up every morning ready for a new day of exciting possibilities. I am happy and free because I am me. I am strong. I am a strong individual who attracts success and happiness. My life is a blast of growing opportunities because I never stop creating. I am energetic and enthusiastic. Confidence is my second nature. I teach others to believe in me because I believe in myself. My actions are intentional and they bring me closer to my goals. I am learning to trust the journey. My mind is clear of self-doubt. I am ready to embrace every challenge that comes my way. I surround myself with people who push me to be my best. I have great ideas and make great contributions. Every challenge I face is an opportunity to grow and improve. I am the architect of my life. I build its foundation and choose its contents. My ability to conquer my challenges is limitless. My potential to succeed is infinite. Today, I abandon my old habits and take up new, positive ones. I am excited about the possibilities that exist for me. I am able to think greater than I feel. I am the difference that will make the difference. I create success with everything I do. My impact starts with myself. My future is unwritten, and I have the power to change. I let go of the thoughts that do not serve me. I choose to be the difference that will make the difference in my life. Today, I choose to direct my thoughts. I am inspired, and I breathe life into my goals, my dreams, and my ambitions. Today, I am committed to my purpose. I act on my inspiration. I take the action necessary regardless of how I feel. A great life, it doesn't happen by chance. It happens by design. I am responsible for making smart decisions to drive success in my personal and professional life. I am blessed to have everything in my life to make it successful. I believe in myself and my abilities. I am the architect of my fate. I can achieve what I've dreamt for myself. The whole world is full of opportunities for me to succeed and impact. I am full of vitality. My confidence, positive attitude, and self-belief are my biggest assets to take me a step closer to my success. I'm not afraid of failures. I learn from my mistakes and turn failures into favorable results.
The economy is going to change no matter what you want it to do. The weather is going to change. Relationships are going to change. Everything in life is always changing. We don't have to work on change. Change is automatic, but progress is not. So if you want to make real progress, then you really got to look at your life in a different way. You got to say, I got to take control of this process and not just hope it's going to work out like people do who make a resolution.
You have to own your own happiness. Take it away from other people demanding that they make you happy. Your kids are not going to make you happy. Your spouse is not going to make you happy. A big house is not going to make you happy. Own your own happiness and be responsible for doing those things that bring joy into your own heart, independently of life and people and money and all of that stuff. Right. It doesn't necessarily give you a happiness. You have to take responsibility of that peace and that joy that lives inside of your heart and not inside of your stuff.
It's a hunt. It's a pursuit. It's a constant thing. It's going on all the time. And when you're in the middle of it, in motion, that's when you feel your best. But the discomfort of that motion makes people so uneasy that they feel like, well, I'm going to go through this discomfort and then I'm going to get to a place of stillness where it's all going to make sense. Finally, I made it. I'm here to tell you that fucking place doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. It's not a real place. It's a place that people look to as an inspirational goal, a destination, and that's going to be the thing that you work hard for. You're gonna push until you get to this place, and then it's all going to be worth it. That place is not real. If you have $1 million, you want $1 billion. If you have a big house, you want a bigger house. You have to find out what actually makes you happy, and it's not having all your ducks in a row on paper. It's improvement. It's improvement in the way you manage your mind. It's improvement in the way you manage your emotions.
Don't worry about what needs to be done. Think about who you have to be in order to get it done. And you do this by focusing on all the things that you're grateful for. Focus on what's working in your life rather than fixating on what isn't working. Maybe you're grateful for the person that's lying next to you. Maybe you're thinking of your children. Maybe it's a dog lying on the side of your bed. Maybe you're listening to the birds outside your window. It's the wonderful house you live in. Maybe it's the wonderful organization that you belong to. It doesn't matter what it is. You just feel it with your heart and soul. You build from there and you keep going. Why do I want you to do this? Because gratitude is the most powerful connection you have to your higher self. You always want to start your day connected to this higher self. And when you do, life becomes easier. You don't take things personally. When you're confronted with a challenge, you just look at it for what it's worth. It's a challenge. Everybody's confronted with challenges. And you know that there's something within you that can meet it and overcome it and move forward as a result of it. Tell yourself you're going to enjoy the day. Say it to yourself, you know what, I'm going to enjoy the day. This is going to be a good day. Visualize how you want your life to go. Visualize yourself having fun with your fellow workers, the people you're working for, who are working for you. Doesn't matter. Just visualize yourself achieving the goal. And always find the laughter within you and around you every day of your life. And that should start in the morning before you leave the house. There's humor all around you. We get so caught up in our thought process on what needs to be done, we let all the funny stuff in our lives just pass us by. Another thing that can put you in a great mood every day, do something nice for somebody. Do something nice for somebody. There's nothing that can bounce you back to enjoy the day than that. All these things that I am telling you is giving you a different thought process, a different focus to look at life from a different perspective. But our lives move in the direction of our most dominant thoughts and what we focus on day in and day out. Not only do our lives move in the direction of what we focus on and what we think about, but those very things that we're thinking about and focusing on are moving closer to us. In other words, people, the more you focus on your lack, the more of that you're going to get back. Because people, when you start laughing at a negative, intense, stressful, overwhelming situation like that, your brain is no longer focusing on that negative situation. Your brain could only focus on one thing at a time. Right now, your brain is laughing at something ridiculous that you just did. And even if your brain did go back to that negative situation, which it will do eventually, but guess what? It won't be as overwhelming as it was before because you've calmed your nervous system down to the point where you can control the situation instead of having that situation control you. How to acquire the attitude that you need to succeed on all levels of life while enjoying the process. There within lies the key phrase, my friends, while enjoying the process, because it seems to be something that most of us leave by the wayside. Especially when we're setting out to achieve our goals and we want to accomplish something, we get so caught up that enjoying ourselves becomes secondary.
call that what? A miracle. Only because we don't quite understand how it works. It doesn't mean it doesn't work. It simply means we don't quite understand how it works. But here's how you get a miracle going for your life. Number one, do what you can. Get a list of the stuff you could do and you haven't done, postpone, and start cleaning that up. You can't start at a better place for personal change. That'll affect your bank account, affect your future, affect your income, affect everything. You can't start a better life change process than cleaning up what you should be doing. A man says, well, my mother lives down in Florida. Should have written her 6 months ago. I just can't seem to get that letter written. I'm asking you to get that letter written, clean that up. Don't walk like other people walk. Don't postpone like other people postpone. You say, well, is it as simple as writing a letter? And the answer is yes. Where else would you start for life change, personal change? You don't need a pink package to fall out of the sky. You don't need massive bombard, pre-conscious, subconscious. Practice channeling, find a 2,000-year gold guru. I mean, you don't need any of that stuff. Pass on all that. Kids are afraid of that stuff. Too much of it, you'll be out on a limb with Shirley. I mean, don't pass on all that stuff. This stuff's too easy. This stuff's too simple. It's called take action, number one, on neglect, on errors, in discipline. Number two, start setting up some discipline. And if you'll do that, you'll perform a miracle. Now, here's the second part of the miracle. Number one is do what you can. Here's number two, do the best you can. If that's not your philosophy, I would ask you to amend it. Let me give you the best of ancient script. Here's what it says. Whatever your hands find to do, do it with all your might, do it with all your strength, and do it with all your power. What a good philosophy. That kind of philosophy will revolutionize your life if you haven't picked it up late. Guy slips in late, company doesn't seem to mind, slips out early, first one in the parking lot, heading for happy hour. Stretches his break, comes early for lunch, late back from lunch, company doesn't seem to notice. Guy says, best as I can calculate, I'm putting in about a half a day's work and I'm collecting a full day's pay. And the guy says, I got it made. Little does he know the seeds of his own disaster are already being sown by the weakness of his own personal philosophy.
Went in his class. He said, young man, go to board and work this problem out for us. I said, oh, I can't do that, sir. He said, why not? I said, I'm not one of your students. He said, look at me. Yes, sir. Go to the board and work the problem out anyhow. I said, I can't do that, sir. The other students started laughing, saying, he's Leslie. He's DT. He's got a twin brother. His twin brother Wesley is smart. He's DT. He said, what does DT stand for? He's the dumb twin. And many of the kids laughed, just like some of you did. And I said, I am, sir. And he came from behind his desk and he looked at me. He said, don't you ever say that again. Someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. That was the turning point in my life. On one hand, I was humiliated, but on the other hand, I was liberated because he looked at me with the eyes of Goethe, who said, look at a man the way that he is, he only becomes worse. But look at him as if he were what he could be, then he becomes what he should be. I want you to shake someone's hand on your right and left, look him in the eyes and say, you have something special. Do that right now. Ladies and gentlemen, you have something special. I don't know you, but here's what I know about you based upon my own experience. You have something special. You have greatness within you. You have the ability to do more than you can ever begin to imagine. Just the fact that you showed up, the fact that you said yes to this industry, it says a lot about you. You're uncommon because it means that you have a sense of taking responsibility for your own life. George Bernard Shaw said the people that will make it in this life, they look around for the circumstances that they want, and if they can't find them, they create them. You have something special. You have greatness within you. You've experienced setbacks and disappointments like everybody else in the economy, but you're operating out of the thinking of one L.C. Robinson, who said things may happen around you and things may happen to you, but the only things that really count are the things that happen in you. You have something special. For some of you, it was a struggle to get here. You couldn't afford to be here, but there's something in you that said, I can't afford not to be here. You have something special. You are uncommon. One great American said, I choose not to be a common man. It's my right to be uncommon if I can. I seek opportunity, not security. I don't wish to be a kept citizen, humbled and dulled by having the state look after me. I want to take the calculated risk, to dream and to build, to fail and to succeed. I refuse to live from hand to mouth. I prefer the challenges of life to the guaranteed existence, the thrill of fulfillment to the still calm of utopia. I will never cower before any master, nor bend to any threat. It's my heritage to stand erect, proud and unafraid, to face the world boldly and say, this I have done. That's what it means to be a part of multi-level marketing, an uncommon desire to live your dream and control your destiny.
There's something in you that says that you're not sitting back waiting to see what politicians will do for you. There's something in you that says, I'm not going to focus on the general economy. I'm going to focus on my personal economy. There's something in you that says the most dependable hand in the world is the one at the end of your wrist. There's something in you that says, always strive to get on top in life because it's the bottom that's overcrowded. You are different. You have greatness within you. Dr. Howard Thurman Cumford is a man that, after having 238 radiation seed implants, my PSA continued to increase. Last year this time it was over 1,500. The little seed cancer, 40% of my I was reading his words that night after leaving Florida Hospital. Doctors told me cancer had reappeared and metastasized in 8 areas of my body. I began to laugh. The doctor spoke to me, looked a little serious. He said, "Why are you laughing?" I said, "I feel like Mother Teresa." He said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Lord, I know you know how much I can bear. I wish you didn't have so much confidence in me." And now my PSA is 0.0. I'm debt-free, cancer-free. Yes, indeed.
Now, God comes to hear how we will worship because he already knows what he will say. We come to hear what he will speak. So inasmuch as we have worshiped him, your worship and your giving and your sowing opens up the door of utterance that God might speak. God will not send fire where you will not present sacrifice. But wherever there is a sacrifice, the fire will follow. Now, as we open up the Word of God, we want to hear what the Spirit of the Lord is saying to the church. Every year, Jesus' parents went to Jerusalem for the festival of the Passover. When he was 12 years old, they went up to the festival according to the custom. After the festival was over, while his parents were returning home, the boy Jesus stayed behind in Jerusalem, but they were not aware of it. Thinking he was in their company, they traveled on for a day. Then they began looking for him among their relatives and their friends. Jesus. Anybody seen Jesus? Where's Jesus? When they did not find him, they went back to Jerusalem to look for him. Anybody looking for Jesus? After 3 days, they found him in the temple courts, sitting amongst the teachers, listening to them and asking them questions. Everyone who heard him was amazed at his understanding and his answers. When his parents saw him, they were astonished. His mother said to him, "Son, why have you treated us like this? What are you doing? Your father and I have been anxiously searching for you." "Why were you searching for me?" he asked. "Didn't you know I had to be in my father's house?" King James Version says that I had to be about my father's business. But they did not understand what he was saying to them. So says the Word of God. I want to talk to you over the next few months, and all of you that are listening from around the world, and all of you that are zooming in, from the subject, the turning point. The turning point. There is a point where things begin to turn. We don't always know when it is, we don't know where it is, but there's a shift that can come. And when you get to the point of a shift, it's a turning point. Peter only sank so low before Jesus snatched him, and the whole story turns around. There's a turning point in your life. Anybody ready for a turning point? I said, anybody ready for a turning point? I want to experience the turning point of God. Let's pray while we're standing. Eternal God and all-wise Father, as we stand in your presence today and as we gather and tabernacle around your glory from all over the world, we are tabernacled in front of iPads and laptops and computers, but nonetheless we are tabernacled around your glory, that we might hear what the Spirit of the Lord would speak to the church. I thank you for what you're going to do. Nobody can do the stuff you do like you do it. Nobody can move like you move when you move. Nobody can heal like you heal when you heal. Nobody can bless like you bless when you bless. Can't nobody do me like Jesus. Can't nobody do me like the Lord. I thank you in advance for what you're going to do. Have your way in this place. In Jesus' name, let us say amen. You may be seated in the presence of the Lord. Now, when we think about this story that is before us today, it is impossible to escape the fact that we are dealing with a chaotic moment of abandonment, separation. And when you study the Word of God, you must realize that you always bring your perspective to the Word of God, because we cannot divorce ourselves from our positions and our experiences in life. So I bring my experiences to the Word of God.